Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we'll be talking all about the silly season. What is it? Why do we have it? And what are some examples of a particularly silly season, aka 2024? Let's do this. So let's start off with what is silly season. Silly season is what we call the summer break, where typically a lot of news comes out from Formula One. Typically, this is where a lot of people will sign contracts to either join a different team, resign from Formula One altogether, or add a new person into a team that hasn't previously been. And what you'll find with 2024 particularly, that one was a very crazy one, and we'll get into that when we get into the examples of silly season. But yeah, what is silly season? It's basically where everything happens. That's when we find out most things about what we are to expect from the year ahead, aka the next season. And it's called silly season because you can't grasp how many things are happening at the same time, because what you are thinking is, oh, there's no racing, nothing's going on. But in actual fact, everything is going on apart from cars being on track at that time. Obviously, things happen also during races, between races, things like that. But it turns out that the summer break is just when everything happens and it gets a bit crazy. So why do we have crazy season? Well, it's the best time for people to sign contracts, and it's not just the drivers. It could be team principals, it could be the pit wall, it could be people behind the scenes. Anyone that is working from a contract, they have the power to change that, to look for a different job if they want to. It's all about being able to move around the grid. This is open all round in the year. It's just that for some reason the summer is when it all happens, where everyone decides to just change everything in preparation for the next season. So we might see Cadillac telling us who their drivers are next year, or maybe we'll have some team principals leaving, some team principals changing, some team principals joining. It will be, anything can happen. People change teams all the time, but silly season is the best time to do it. So let's talk about the examples of a silly season, shall we? So as I've previously mentioned, an example of a silly season is 2024 altogether, but in that time we found out that Nico Hülkenberg is joining Sauber and leaving Haas. We found out that Gabriel Bortoleto is the other Sauber seat, so both Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas are out of a seat. Then we also found out that when Valtteri Bottas did lose his seat, well, he got a reserve seat at Mercedes, and Zhou Guanyu got a reserve seat at Ferrari. We also found that Adrian Newey was leaving Red Bull and joining Aston Martin with the help of the late great Eddie Jordan. And then we also found out that Jonathan Wheatley is leaving Red Bull, so he left his post as a sporting director to then be the team principal of Sauber. We found that, well, the biggest news was Lewis Hamilton was leaving Mercedes and joining Ferrari. Then we also found that as a result, they had to get rid of Carlos Sainz. So then eventually he signed for Williams. We found out that on the grid in 2025, we'll have 6 rookies. So that was Isaac Hadjar, Gabriel Bortoleto, we have Ollie Behrman, we have Jack Doohan, we have, Liam Lawson made a comeback, we had Franco Colapinto briefly, we also had Kimi Antonelli replacing Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes. There were all sorts of different things, and they are known as breaking news, and you know that something crazy is happening when all over social media you will see these breaking news shots that have a picture of the person involved, and then they say like, this person has signed a contract until the end of this year or that year, or this person is set to leave, or this person is joining this team, and blah 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 blah. It was a crazy season, 2024, where we found out all sorts of things. The only two teams that kept the same drivers, both drivers, were McLaren and Aston Martin. So the only people who stayed in their seats were Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri and Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. Every other team had at least one change. So we had the loss of Sergio Perez, who was replaced by Liam Lawson, who was then replaced by Yuki Tsunoda this year. We had Lewis joining Ferrari, Carlos joining Williams, Logan Sargent being fired and being replaced with Franco Colapinto, Daniel Ricciardo being fired and replaced with Liam Lawson. We had Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon joining Haas. We had Jack Doohan joining Alpine. We had Kimi Antonelli stepping into Mercedes, as I've said before, and we had the whole Sauber team being completely replaced, and we had Cadillac being announced that they're joining the grid in 2026. Silly season should be sometimes known as crazy season, but either way, silly things happen, and you think nothing's happening, but actually so many things are happening. There's just no rooms on track. So that is silly season. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for just being here and listening to my podcast in general. Please don't forget to check out our website, BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com, where you can find all your stickers and anything new that's coming up with the whole team. Don't forget to check out all of the other podcasts on the Be The Change Media Network, and don't forget to listen in on Monday, where we'll be having the Austrian race rundown, where we'll be talking all things from FP1, FP2, FP3, qualifying and the race. We will also run down how the drivers' championship is looking like, and how the teams are looking like in the constructors. It's all to come for, so be there on Monday, ready to listen in. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.